If you're reading this, you've probably heard the rumors. Maybe you saw the threads on Reddit or the late-night YouTube videos with clickbait titles and shaky footage. Maybe you're just curious, or maybe you're like I was, a skeptic, someone who laughs at ghost stories and urban legends. But I'm telling you now, as someone who's lived through it, never play this game online after midnight. I wish I'd listened to the warnings. It started as a joke between friends. We were a group of 4. Me, my best friend Sam, our tech genius Marcus, and Liv, who could always find the creepiest corners of the internet. We've been playing horror games together for years, streaming our reactions, trying to outscare each other. It was all in good fun, until Liv found the link. She sent it to our group chat at 11:47 p.m. on a Friday night. The message was simple: found something new. Only works after midnight. Who's in? The link was to a game I'd never heard of, with no reviews and no developer info. Just a black screen with the title The Door. The website looked like it hadn't been updated since the early 2000s, with glitchy graphics and a single download button. Marcus ran a virus scan, shrugged, and said it was clean. We all laughed, put on our headsets, and agreed to start the game together at exactly 12:01 a.m. I remember the moment the clock hit midnight. My room was dark except for the glow of my monitor. I clicked start, and the screen went black. For a few seconds, are you sure you want to open the door? I typed yes. The graphics were basic, flickering lights, and a single door hanging on the wall. We joked about the graphics, made fun of the creepy music. The game is simple. Walk down the hall, open each time, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, sometimes filled with strange symbols or flickering shadows. At first, it was boring. We laughed, called out the jump scares before they happened, and tried to break the game by running in circles. But then things started to get weird. The game began to glitch, but not in the usual way. The shadows on the walls started to look like faces. The static in the background grew louder, almost like whispering. And then, the messages started. At 12:17 a.m., Sam's voice crackled through my headset. "Guys, did you see that?" I glanced at my screen. A new message had appeared. "You are not alone." I laughed, thinking it was part of the game. But then Marcus spoke up, his voice shaky. My webcam just turned on by itself. I checked my own webcam. Nothing. But the feeling of being watched was suddenly overwhelming. We kept playing, each of us growing quieter as the game got stranger. The doors started to look different. Old, rotting wood, rusty metal, sometimes covered in what looked like handprints. The whispers grew louder, and sometimes, when I opened a door, I thought I saw something move in the darkness beyond. I told myself it was just a game, just clever programming. But then, at 12:34 a.m., everything changed. My screen flickered, and for a split second, I saw my own room reflected in the game. My desk, my chair, even the poster on my wall. But there was something else, a shadow standing behind me, tall and thin, with eyes that glowed in the dark. I spun around, heart pounding, but my room was empty. When I turned back to the screen, the game had crashed. I tried to restart, but the icon was gone from my desktop. I messaged the group, but no one responded. My phone buzzed, a text from Sam. "Don't open the door." I stared at the message, confused. I tried calling him, but the call went straight to voicemail. I tried Marcus and Liv, but got nothing. My heart was racing now, panic rising in my chest. I checked the group chat. The last message was from Liv, sent at 12:36 a.m. "It's in my room." After that, nothing. I sat there, staring at the screen, trying to convince myself it was a prank. But then my computer turned off by itself, the screen going black. I heard a noise behind me, a soft creak, like someone stepping on the floorboards. I froze, every muscle tensed. I turned around slowly, my eyes searching the darkness. Nothing, just the shadows, the hum of my computer cooling down, and the distant sound of a car passing outside. I told myself I was being paranoid, that it was just a game, just a joke. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I tried to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw that shadow, tall, thin, with eyes glowing in the dark. I woke up every hour, convinced someone was standing at the foot of my bed. The next morning, I called Sam again. This time, he answered, but his voice was different, flat and distant. I spent the rest of the day trying to find a video online, but the website was gone. No trace, no contact. I messaged Marcus and Liz, but neither responded. They told me I started to wonder if I'd imagined it was again. If it was just a feeling or not existing. That night, this time, it was from the unknown line. The message was simple. It's your turn to open the door. I stared at my phone, the message burning into my mind. It's your turn to open the door. My hands trembled as I set the phone down, trying to convince myself it was just a prank. Maybe Sam or Marcus had gotten a new number. Maybe they were messing with me. But deep down, I knew it wasn't them. The tone was wrong, cold, and impersonal, like a command rather than a joke. I tried to distract myself, scrolling through social media and watching mindless videos, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. Every shadow in my room seemed to stretch a little longer. Every creak of the house made me jump. I kept glancing at the clock, watching the minutes crawl toward midnight. I told myself I wouldn't play the game again, that I'd delete every trace of it from my computer, but the message kept echoing in my head. At 11:58 p.m., my computer turned on by itself. The screen glowed in the darkness, the familiar black background and white text appearing. Welcome back, player. Are you ready to open the door? My heart pounded in my chest. I hadn't touched the mouse or keyboard, but the game was running. I tried to shut it down, but the cursor wouldn't move. The only option was to click yes. I hesitated, but the screen flickered and the text changed. You don't have a choice. My hand moved almost on its own, clicking the button. The game loaded, the same pixelated hallway, the same flickering lights. But this time, the door at the end was different, taller, darker, with something moving behind it. The static in the background was louder now, almost deafening, and the whispers had returned, overlapping voices calling my name. I walked down the hallway, each step feeling heavier than the last. The door loomed ahead, and as I reached for the handle, the screen glitched. For a split second, I saw my own reflection again, but this time, the shadow behind me was closer. I spun around in my chair, but my room was empty. When I looked back, the game had changed. The hallway was gone, replaced by a series of images. My house, my street, and my bedroom window. The camera panned closer and closer until it was looking directly at me through the screen. I jumped up, heart racing, and unplugged the computer. The screen went dark, but the whispers didn't stop. They filled the room, soft and insistent, growing louder with every passing second. I covered my ears, but the voices were inside my head now, repeating the same phrase. Open the door. Let us in. I stumbled to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face, trying to snap myself out of it. My reflection looked pale and drawn, eyes wide with fear. I tried to laugh it off, to tell myself it was just a game, just a trick of the mind. But when I looked closer, I saw something moving in the mirror, a shadow, tall and thin, standing just behind me. I spun around, but the room was empty. I saw the door and heard the whispers. I kept checking my phone, half expecting another message. At 3:07 a.m. This time, it was a photo of his voice barely more than a whisper. "It's too late," he said. "Once you open the door, you can't close it. Don't let it in." The line went dead. I spent the next day in a fog, jumping at every sound, every movement in the corner of my eye. I tried to tell myself it was just sleep deprivation, just my imagination running wild. But the feeling of being watched never left. That night, I blocked the crack under my door, covered the windows, and tried to stay awake. But at exactly midnight, my phone buzzed again. This time, the message was a video. I hesitated, but curiosity got the better of me. I pressed play. The video was dark and grainy, but I recognized my own room. The camera panned slowly, stopping at my closet door. The handle turned, and the door creaked open. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a long, pale hand with too many joints reached out, followed by a face, featureless except for those glowing eyes. The figure stepped into the room, moving with unnatural, jerky motions. The video ended with the camera turning to face me, as if whoever, or whatever, was holding it was standing right behind me. I dropped the phone, heart pounding, and spun around. The room was empty, but the air felt colder and heavier. I could hear the whispers again, louder now, filling every corner of the room. "Open the door. Let us in." I pressed my back against the wall, staring at the door, waiting for the handle to turn.